For some new coaches, it might come as a surprise that your clients aren't really coming to you just to be able to learn how to exercise. And in fact, most of them are coming to you in some way to be able to learn how to change. And although you might have even a master level education tied to those things that relate to training like exercise physiology or anatomy or even nutrition, as a coach, being able to help people change is still the biggest part of what you will do most days. Therefore, in Lesson 6, we mean to highlight these details on how to be able to help your client change, and we'll break this lesson down into the most important aspects of change. These lessons are also based on what we know from a practical standpoint of helping clients change and has been refined by coaches who are currently using these skills in the field. As you go through these details, it's important to keep an open mind and to ask yourself, how many of these am I actually using with my client? And if you really want to be able to help in their quest to make changes happen, it's a good idea to take one point or detail and try to use it in your coaching model. So it's a form of assessing your own skills. In our coaching model, we know that our clients' goals and results have to be measurable, so therefore we want to keep data on everything tied to what our clients want to improve. Now, if the client wants to lose weight, then we have them step on the scale. And if they want to be even more precise and lose fat, we want to be able to get at those body fat readings using calipers or other methods. If our client wants to just be able to fit into their skinny clothes, we have them try those clothes on once in a while as a positive motivator. And if they want to feel better, we simply ask them how they're feeling or have them write down how they're feeling and then review it every few months. And this is all pretty basic information, and this is typically what our clients are looking for us to keep in their files. Or is it? Now, you might be surprised. The truth is that a lot of trainers are lacking in this skill, and the reason for doing this is simple, and it's because it works. Now, there's an old saying you'd be wise to follow, which is that what gets measured gets done. It's also been said that if something is truly important to do, then do it every day. And if it's not important, don't do it at all. Change happens only when you can slowly tear down old habits and build new ones in their place. And most experienced trainers would agree that this has to be done each day. In fact, this is one of the reasons that exercise alone doesn't work. Doing something 3 times a week just isn't enough in some cases to be able to build a new habit. And that's why personal training alone can fall shy of expectations, because by itself, it isn't very effective unless it combines nutrition and daily habit building. As a result, we want to promote the idea of having our clients do something every day. And if you want to truly help your clients to get to their goals successfully, they may need to change habits on a daily frequency. To ask your clients to do something every day, you also have to make sure that that something is easy enough that they're feeling 100% confident in their ability to be able to do it for a period of time, say 30 days. This is also something that would be assessed up front and has been called the confidence ruler. In other words, how confident is your client that they can make a change? If you observe that a client isn't on track for their particular outcome goals, it might mean that you're asking too much of them, and it also might mean that you need to scale back your strategies. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people bite off way more than they can chew, meaning that they commit to working out an hour a day or eating 4 healthy meals a day, cutting out chocolate, running a marathon, cooking healthier, or even waking up earlier. In other words, nothing less than a complete overhaul of their lives. Follow-up is important because maybe your client is able to do extra activities for 3 days or even a week, and some people can go even longer, but inevitably they'll miss a day and then 2, and then it starts to fall apart. The client can then be at risk for losing confidence and feeling guilty or beating themselves up or going back to doing exactly what they were doing before, nothing. So in some cases, your client's personality may mean that their approach to change is all or nothing, and the coach has to be aware of this. Instead, try to make it easy for your clients, and in the world of health and fitness, your clients will need activities that are easier than you might think. So instead of asking them to eat 4 healthy meals a day, ask them to just try 1 healthy meal per day and give them permission to leave everything else the same. But what if your client can't commit to something for 30 days? Find something that they can do and ask them to do it each day. Now, your clients might think that it's too easy or simple and that this sort of commitment won't do anything for them. But this also might just be their ego talking because maybe they don't want to look foolish or admit that something so easy might be all they can handle right now. This negative thinking or dialogue can't be allowed because it will keep them stuck exactly where they are. Help your clients to let go of their ego and accept where they are and commit to something each day. It might be best for coaches to have their client work on just one habit at a time. Now, often they'll find that this is frustrating at first because they expect to be able to do everything right away. But generally, we find that this is more of an ego-driven behavior, and we know that change doesn't work that way. Furthermore, studies show that people are normally quite successful when they can limit their change to one behavior at a time, say maybe 3 to 4 weeks before introducing a new one. But trying to introduce even 2 new behaviors at once, and the failure rate is nearly 100%. And that's a tough lesson for our client to learn. Again, your clients have to be able to put their ego aside and change their expectations. People can only change one behavior at a time, so pick one, and any positive one will do, and then give the client, once again, permission to leave everything else in their lives as is, at least for now. There's going to be plenty of time for the rest of your client's goals to be reshaped. It's pretty typical that clients will underestimate how hard change will be for them and also how long it will take. So stick to one habit at a time, and your clients will get to all of their goals eventually. With how hard change can typically be, we also know that it's an uncomfortable process for our client. And this is because we're asking our client to leave what they know and what they're comfortable with, including their habits and their lifestyle or even their environment, and then to try something new. As part of the effort to improve their lifestyle, they might have to take a tentative or baby step into an unknown or uncertain place. So the first thing that happens is clients try to resolve this tension by trying to make it certain again, by asking all kinds of questions and working themselves into a panic, by asking things like, what about this supplement? Or what do you think about this theory? Or what happens when this occurs? What do I do? With our clients in mind, we call these wondering and worrying questions, and we have to have a strict ban on these as the coach or leader of the client's change effort because although they might be well-intentioned, they don't reduce anxiety at all, and in fact, they do the exact opposite by getting clients worked up and distracting them from the only 2 questions that really matter, which are, what should you do today, and how will you do that? The first question is asking for the next step or the right now. That's the only thing your client should concern themselves with because it's the only thing that they can control at the moment. And the second question is asking for clarification and instruction so that they can do what they need to properly. Without a doubt, your client will definitely need some form of support as part of the change process, and we call this social support, and it tends to make a big difference in the results or their outcome. Now, who your clients have in their inner social circle and what they do and even how they think will have a magnetic pull on who they are, and the people in your clients' lives will be forever influencing them, even unconsciously, toward being just like them. In fact, there's a saying that we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. As your clients change, those same people will be pulling them back into the way that they were, and it may not be intentional or malicious, but most of the time, they just can't help it. So when it comes to things like fitness or specifically fat loss, the same thing applies. Now, this doesn't mean that your clients need to be told to scrap their friends and family, but it might mean that as they start to get in shape and make changes, they'd be better off if they can get some other like-minded people in their lives or inner circle, or they could be at risk for not hitting their outcome goal. Just as much as clients need to be picked up when they're down, or as much as they need to be helped and supported from time to time, or even as much as they need some positive interaction in their lives, they also need someone that holds them accountable when they're not meeting their goals or their commitments. For our clients, that person is their coach, whose job it is to stay on top of them as much as it is to be able to support them. So if your client misses a day, that's all right, but if they miss 2, then you're obligated to intervene. Now, if there's a legitimate problem, we can work with clients to help them find a solution. But if there seems to only be an excuse from the client, this has to be resolved so that you can get the client to be honest with themselves about what they really want from the change process. Now, everyone needs someone to hold them accountable, especially in the beginning of a new process that they're mostly unfamiliar with. And in this relationship, that person is you, and you are there for your client. And this is what they're paying you to do. Taking this approach is also congruent with being a mentor for your client and is an important skill for a lifestyle fitness coach. Now, we're not trying to say that we strong-arm clients into change, but we do want to make sure that clients understand that we will not let behaviors go unchecked if they stand in the way of either the client getting to their goals or your reputation for being an effective coach.